Welcome to another edition of Sports Chronicles. I'm Crystal Stone. I'm here with the crew, Keon Cage and Adrian Carvajal. You know, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but not on this show. Today, we're going to get into the NBA Summer League, and the WNBA All-Star weekend kicks off very soon. And a new professional women's basketball league has just been announced recently, and we'll get reaction to that too. But first, NBA Summer League. Keon Cage, you've seen what's been going on this last week. What's your reaction?
I mean, you said it best. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas because that goes for on the court and off the court. When you're watching these summer leagues, you shouldn't take them too serious. These are rookies. These are people that's fighting to make the rosters. There's only maybe one or two spots left on the team. And it's a lot of energy and competitiveness, but it's not too much talent out there. The best talents, of course, are the rookies. You want to see the top picks, and you want to see them do well. And if they do well, you can't take it too serious because LeBron James is not out there. Joel Embiid is not out there. Some of the best players in the world are not on this court right now. So I wouldn't take these summer league games not too serious.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I feel like, don't take it too much to heart. I mean, we've seen some All-Stars that have played really bad in the Summer League, and we've seen some guys that have played really bad in the Summer League turn into NBA All-Stars, MVPs. So don't take it too much to heart, but I feel like there still is a competitive gear that these players should be, playing as hard as they can. I mean, a lot of these guys are trying to make roster spots, like Keon mentioned. They one or two roster spots left. A lot of these guys are in the G League trying to fight. And these rookies, I feel like a lot of these rookies this year are coming out with something to prove. Victor Wembanyama, who's coming overseas from France, a lot of talk about, could he be the next GOAT? He's got something to prove. Brandon Miller, with all the allegations, speculations that he's had, he's got something to prove. And Scoot, not getting picked second, he's got something to prove. So a lot of these, new guys have something to prove, and I think it's going to be a great finish to the Summer League this weekend.
All right, so speaking of these new guys and what they have to prove, what do you see out of these new draft picks, these rookies coming into the league?
Yeah, well, we have three of our top three picks this year. And the first one, we're going to start off with Victor Wembanyama, some of his highlights. We'll get into it right here. So the first play, we got a pick and roll with Bryce Sensabaugh. Wide open jumper. Of course, he knocks it down. I'm not too worried about him making wide open jumpers. If we can go on to the next play we have him defending on the perimeter.
Gotta show it one more time. That shot just...
Woo. Yeah, he's got that silky smooth release. Right here on the perimeter. Boom, blocks it. I'm not too worried with his defense, especially on the perimeter. Look, he's got a smaller defender on him. Even if the guy blows by him, he's going to be able to catch back up and block him. But right now, his length, he's just too quick, too long, and he's going to block that every time. And our last play, crossover from right to left, over the defender, nothing but net. I like the move, but I don't like the ability to not be able to finish with the left hand. Not finish with the left hand, but he lost it momentarily. That's going to be a struggle for him. If he wants to be that next GOAT, you got to be stronger with your left, especially if you're going to dribble as much as he does on the perimeter. I guess we'll move on to Brandon Miller, number 2 pick for Charlotte. Brandon Miller's first play right here. Step back. He's got the crossover and one. It's just too easy for him. He's a great player. My problem with him, not problem per se, my worry with him is he going to be able to match his offensive prowess with some skill on the defensive end and clamp some of these defenders on the other end? I mean, he's going to be guarding Kevin Durant, Paul George, the likes of those guys. Second play, crossover. Nobody's worried about his offense, let's be honest. He had a rough start to his first game. Second game, 27 points. I mean, this guy's going to be a great offensive player, especially alongside LaMelo. And to our third player, my favorite, Scoot Henderson. Yeah, picked third. I thought he should have been picked second. With the first play right here, we have a step back in between over the defender, over Tari Eason, who's a second-year player, solid player for Houston. Yeah, that's just too easy. I mean, they got guys reaching. He's just shooting over guys. This guy is NBA ready physically and mentally. I feel like he trains with Steph Curry. Come on, man. He's going to be a great player. Second, blows right by Amen Thompson, drafted for Houston. And Amen Thompson and his twin brother are some of the best defenders in this draft class. So blowing by him and going for this layup is no easy joke. And he finishes alley-oop acrobatic. And the last play, step back, crossover, over Amen Thompson again. This guy is NBA ready. He is elite. He's my favorite player in this draft. And he is my pick to win Rookie of the Year this year.
Adrian, that was awesome. And I love these highlights, but I feel like there was one that was missing, which was my highlight of the NBA Summer League so far, of Wemby getting posterized by a fellow Texas Longhorn, Kai Jones. So I just want to shout that out. You know, you left that out, but that's okay. Moving on to the WNBA All-Star Weekend. It is kicking off on this Saturday, and our own Phoenix Mercury, Adrian and I cover the team for Cronkite News. Brittany Griner will be starting in the game this weekend. Keon, your thoughts on all the stars coming out for the WNBA?
So yeah, I just recently attended the game when they played the Sparks, and she got that little nice dunk on it. So I'm just excited just to see her back on the court. But we know the All-Stars already been in Vegas with the Aces. So I'm just excited to see some of the All-Stars all come together, see Brittany back with some of the world's best talent. What you expect, man? I know you cover the game every day.
And you're actually going out there this weekend. You're about to head up to Viva Las Vegas to cover the WNBA All-Star game. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, we covered the team, the Mercury, so the only All-Star we got this year was Brittany Griner. So props to her. I mean, she's going to be great. Hopefully we see a couple more dunks in there for her. I'm excited to see a lot of the players that we don't get to see on a nightly basis being here in Phoenix. I mean, Meg Wilbur plays for the Seattle Storm. Great player. I'm excited to see what she does because she's not one of the more known players in this All-Star game. I'm also excited to see Sabrina Ionescu, one of my favorite players. I mean, out of Oregon, watching her in college and watching her. She just had a 40-point game the other night. She's terrific. So I'm excited to see her. And of course, Breanna Stewart, Asia Wilson, the captains. I mean, how can we forget about them? They're two of the best players in the league, probably in league history as well. So I'm just excited to be there, witnessing greatness, being able to be taking in all the fan experience, and I'm really excited for this weekend in Vegas.
And you're going to work too, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to party too much.
No,
right?
no partying. Work on.
Crystal, who are you excited to see at the NBA?
I'm excited to see Brittany Griner as well. I'm really excited to see Aaliyah Boston, the rookie out of the Indiana Fever. She's the first rookie to start in the All-Star game since 2014. So I'm very looking forward to seeing her doing that. So keeping with the W is keeping it domestic. So we just learned a few days ago, last week, that Breanna Stewart and Napheja Collier, two WNBA stars, have announced their own league that they're launching. It's a professional 3-on-3 women's basketball league that the launch time has not been determined yet, but it is something to look forward to for these women basketball players so they don't have to travel overseas during the off season. So here are some details about the league. It's going to be 30 of the top players in the WNBA. It's going to be a total of 6 teams, 5 players per team, and the salaries for these players are going to sort of be competitive with the current WNBA salary. So that's something that's kind of been a hot topic for the sports world, looking at the pay inequities when it comes to the WNBA versus the NBA, or women's sports in general versus men's sports. Keon, seeing that this is now a new opportunity for women basketball players to make a living and not have to go overseas, could this be an impact of the Brittany Griner effect, with what happened to her being wrongfully detained in Russia for 10 months, coming back, these players seeing an opportunity to make something for themselves here in the U.S.?
Well, yes, I do think that effect truly impacted this decision to make this league. But I'm really excited. I feel like WNBA players have some of the best skills in the league, better than some of these NBA players. WNBA is really based off skills, not true athleticism all the time. So I love to see this 3-on-3. You're going to see a lot of shot making. You're going to see a lot of buckets going on. So I'm very interested in see how successful this league. Now, do I think it's initially going to be successful off rip? I think you got to give it time. It reminds me of Ice Cube's Big Three, where you see a bunch of the old-fashioned uncles on the floor trying to reminisce their NBA heyday. The old heads. But this is it'll be a younger version of the Big Three, maybe.
Adrian, what do you think? This is good for the women's basketball?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the old heads playing. Of course, it's the WNBA players. It's going to be great. I'm actually super excited. I mean, there's a 3-on-3 for the Olympics already that they have going on. Napheja Collier and Breanna Stewart have already played, so I mean, that's some great stuff that they're going to be able to continue playing. And I think it's great for the players to be able to stay in the United States. I mean, of course, Brittany Griner, the whole situation over there with being wrongfully detained in Russia, I think this is great. It limits the risk of other players going to other countries and just being able to stay home. I wouldn't like to be away from home for more than, you have to play months at a time over there. So I think it's great. They're going to enjoy their summers here playing in the W and spend their off season, staying close to home, being able to play some hoops here in the U.S.
Yeah, and a lot of these women have kids, who wants to be separated from the kids for 5 to 6 months at a time. So yes, this is a great move for the WNBA. I'm also really impressed that it was 2 players who spearheaded this campaign, because they know better than any of us what they need, what type of payment they need to sort of survive and not have to go overseas. So kudos to them on that. Well, that is all that we have for this week's edition of Sports Chronicles. But don't worry, we'll be back next week right here at the same time. Be sure to join us. For myself, Crystal Stone, Adrian Carvajal, and Keon Cage, we'll see you next time.